Hi, it's your old friend Dad Fad here. Here to introduce what came into my life, 62 years after I got on the planet. I wish it had been there a lot sooner. It was a way of relating to the guitar that gave me my intuitive voice versus trying to figure out, versus playing guitar, right? I'm playing guitar as opposed to music with the guitar. And the method that I'm going to make is going to be broken down into 5 videos. This is the first one, and the system is called Tacos, and it's tune, apply, create, observe, and then sing. And basically what it's meant to do is give you a start on using your own musical voice on the instrument without any extraneous theory or thoughts that get in the way between the music that you feel that you are embodying and the instrument in your hands and the sound that comes out. Okay. So, this is basically kind of a standard tuning, right? And all we are going to do is tune all the strings of the guitar to the same notes that would be made if in standard tuning we were playing an E minor chord, right? That's an E minor chord in standard tuning. And to make that, you've got to waste 2 fingers. So what we're going to do is we're going to tune it so these notes are played at the nut. And in order for the strings to work without breaking, all the strings are going to be tuned down a whole step. So it's just like standard tuning, except we're going to tune to an E minor chord with all the strings below. So instead of E, A, D, G, B, E, it's going to be D, A, D, F, A, D, Dad Fad. Where have you heard that before? Okay, so we've got our tuner. Hopefully you can see it. And there's a D. I'm not going to worry about lining it up right now, and I'll explain that in a second. Okay, so the thickest string is D, the second thickest string is A, the third thickest string is D again, so the bottom thickest string spelled D-A-D, Dad. And then we're going to skip a string for a second, we're going to leave that last, and then go back to the second thinnest string, that's another A, and then the thinnest string, that's another D. So we've got the bottom 3 thickest strings, D, A, D, and the top 2 strings, A, D. Okay, now we've got this string here, right? The third thinnest string, that's going to be an F, which is the minor third of the D minor chord. So we go. Okay, so it's in the ballpark now, right? So someone who doesn't know how to tune, you've got D, A, D, F, A, D. Now you take, so the relationship. So you want to play a song in a minor chord? 1 finger. right? That would take 3 fingers in standard tuning because of, right, the 2 notes that we tune down to the nut. Okay, so with 1 finger tuning D, A, D, F, A, D, thick string to thin string, we've got 1 finger that can make a minor chord anywhere on the neck just by fretting it. Okay. Now, to get a little more esoteric, you can leave this part if you find it confusing. But just because the name on the tuner says something doesn't mean the guitar is tuned to the sonic environment that it's in. And this is extremely important from a physics point of view, okay? You've got a note resonating in an environment that has another harmonic resonance to it that is not harmonious. It's going to not ring out as much. So instead of just lining up that arrow on the tuner in the middle, I'm actually listening to that the thickest string based on, I've got an air conditioner running, right? There's an ambient noise floor resonant frequency in any environment that as a musician you should be aware of all the time, because that's the palette that you're using as you express yourself. Okay, so that D here. Do you hear how that gets kind of louder because it sits in the sonic environment? It resonates. It's working with the sound in the environment as opposed to anything else. So we just tune all the D's, thinking when it gets louder, it's probably closer to more resonant. And you can feel it on the guitar. You can feel it in your chest. You tune it, and all of a sudden, right, you can feel it, the back of the guitar open up and start vibrating. D, A, D. There's the other A. And there's the D, but we're tuning to what we hear in our ears in the room. Okay, and then that F, as a rule of thumb, and I use this all the time, I get that note from the 3rd fret on the on this 3rd thickest string, and then use the loudest. So now we've got, and it's tuned to the room, the resonant frequency in the room, so it is resonant. We're ready to go. Okay, that was the T in Tacos tune. Let's go to apply. See you in the next video.